We are the great danger. Psyche is the great danger. How important is to know something about it, but we know nothing about it. Carl Jung. Let that sink in for a moment. The greatest threat isn't always out there somewhere far away. Sometimes the danger is right beside you. Sometimes it's someone you trust. Sometimes it's someone you love. Picture the people closest to you. Friends, family, partners, colleagues. Now ask yourself, what does it really cost to let the wrong person close? Not just arguments or heartbreak. The cost can be your peace, your confidence, your sense of who you are, and sometimes your future. Many people lose years of their lives to the wrong person. They lose energy, dreams, even their health. Why do we let it happen? Why do we ignore the warning signs? Why do we let danger slip past our guard? It's not because we're foolish or want to suffer, it's because we're human. Most of us want to see the best in people, believe in second chances, believe that love or friendship can heal, and believe we're safe. But sometimes hope blinds us. Sometimes kindness makes us vulnerable. Sometimes our own mind tricks us. Psychology calls these tricks biases. One bias is the benefit of the doubt. We tell ourselves, well, maybe they didn't mean it. Maybe they'll change. Maybe I'm just being too sensitive. Another bias is the fear of being alone. We crave company even if it hurts us. We'd rather have someone than no one. We ignore red flags because we're afraid of emptiness. Sometimes we see potential in someone and think, they could be better. If I just help them, they'll improve. We fall in love with what could be, not what is. And then there's the fear of starting over. We've invested time, energy, and emotion, and we don't want to lose what we've built. So we ignore the signs and keep going even when it hurts. Sometimes we doubt our own judgment. We think, maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm overreacting, or maybe it's just me. We start to question our own mind, silence our gut feeling, and go with the flow even when it feels wrong. We tell ourselves, it'll be fine. But deep down, we know something's off. Why do we do this? The answer often starts in childhood. As kids, we learn to seek approval, to be liked, to be accepted, to feel safe in a group. If praise was rare, we work extra hard for it. If love was conditional, we learn to please, ignore our own needs, put others first, stay quiet even when something feels wrong, and doubt ourselves. These lessons don't disappear as we grow up. They follow us into adulthood. We keep seeking approval, fearing rejection, and ignoring our own warning signs. Jung called this the shadow, the part of us we hide, the feelings we push down, the fears we pretend don't exist, the anger, the shame, the hurt. We hide these things from ourselves, but they don't go away. They shape who we trust, who we let in, and sometimes make us repeat old patterns. We attract the same kind of people, walk into the same traps, ignore the same red flags, and keep hoping for a different outcome. But nothing changes until we see our shadow. Jung said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." That's why some people always end up with toxic partners, controlling friends, or manipulative colleagues. It's not bad luck, it's the shadow at work. The first signs are always there. Maybe it's a feeling in your stomach, a moment of doubt, something they say or do, but you brush it off. You tell yourself, it's nothing. I'm just tired, I'm just being negative. But your body knows. Your mind knows. That's your intuition speaking. Most people regret ignoring their gut. Surveys show that after a bad friendship or relationship, people say, I knew something was wrong. I saw the signs, but I ignored them. I wish I had listened to myself. Ignoring red flags is one of the top reasons for regret in life. People lose time, energy, and peace. They lose trust in themselves. But it doesn't have to be this way. You can learn to spot the signs. You can learn to trust your gut. You can break the pattern. So who are these dangerous people? What do they look like? How do they act? And how can you protect yourself? Let's start with the first type, the manipulator. A manipulator is hard to spot at first. They often seem friendly and helpful. Sometimes they make you feel special. They know how to say the right thing. They know how to make you laugh. But underneath, they are always planning. They want something from you. They use charm like a fishing line. They pull you in with compliments. Then they use guilt to keep you close. After all I've done for you, they might say. Or you're the only one I can trust. You start to feel responsible for their happiness. You feel like you owe them. This is how they control you without you even noticing. It's like they have invisible strings. You become the puppet and they hold the strings. In families, a manipulator might play favorites. At work, they might take credit for your ideas. In relationships, they might use your secrets against you. They twist your words. They make you doubt your own memory. This is called gaslighting. Gaslighting is when someone makes you question what's real. You think, did I really say that? Maybe I'm just being too sensitive. Over time, you lose trust in yourself and you start to believe their version of reality. You feel confused and small. You stop speaking up. You stop asking questions. The manipulator shapes your world. They decide what's true and what's not. You become afraid to make them angry. You walk on eggshells. You feel trapped, but you can't explain why. That's the power of manipulation. Now let's talk about the second type, the victim. The victim is always in a crisis. Something is always wrong. They need help all the time. They tell you their life is so hard. They say, no one understands me, or nothing ever goes right for me. You feel sorry for them. You want to help. You want to fix their problems. You give them advice. You give them time. Sometimes you even give them money. But nothing ever changes. The crisis never ends. The victim always finds a new problem. You start to feel tired. You start to feel drained. You wonder if you're doing enough. You feel guilty when you say no. This is the trap of codependency. Codependency means you feel responsible for someone else's feelings. You think it's your job to save them, but the more you give, the more they need. You lose yourself trying to help. You forget your own needs. You become the rescuer and they become the victim. This cycle is hard to break. Surveys show that people who help too much often feel burned out. Helpers get tired, sad, and even sick. They lose sleep and feel anxious. They feel guilty for wanting space. The victim never learns to stand on their own, and you never get to rest. What are the early warning signs? For the manipulator, watch for too many favors. Notice if you feel guilty all the time. Notice if you doubt your own memory. Notice if you feel small around them. For the victim, notice if the crisis never ends. Notice if your advice is always ignored. Notice if you feel tired after talking to them. Notice if you feel like you can never do enough. Both types make you doubt yourself. Both types drain your energy. Both types make you forget who you are. But you can learn to spot them early. You can learn to protect your peace. You can learn to set boundaries. You can learn to say no. You can learn to listen to your gut. Remember, your feelings matter too. You don't have to fix everyone. You don't have to carry someone else's pain. You don't have to be the puppet or the rescuer. You can choose your own peace. Now let's meet the next two dangerous types. Now let's talk about the narcissist. A narcissist can seem like a superstar. They are charming and confident. People want to be around them, but behind the charm, there's emptiness. They need constant praise. They want to be the center of attention. If you don't give them enough, they get upset. They make you feel small so they can feel big. They ignore your feelings. They talk about themselves all the time. If you share your success, they get jealous. If you have a problem, they don't care. Over time, you feel invisible. You start to doubt your worth. You stop sharing your dreams. You feel like nothing you do is good enough. That's how a narcissist erodes your self-worth. Now, meet the controller. The controller isn't always loud. Sometimes they are quiet and sneaky. They want to make all the decisions. They tell you what to wear, what to say, even what to think. At first, it feels like they're just helping. But soon, you can't make choices for yourself. In friendships, they pick your friends. At work, they take over your projects. You feel trapped. You start to believe you can't do anything right. This is called learned helplessness. It means you stop trying because you think you'll always fail. Jung said we sometimes project our fears onto others. The controller uses your doubts against you. They make you believe you need them, but you don't. You can spot these types early. Notice if someone always needs praise. Notice if you feel smaller around them. Notice if someone makes all the choices for you. Notice if you feel afraid to disagree. These are signs of the narcissist and the controller. You deserve to feel safe and strong. You deserve to make your own choices. Let's keep going and meet the last two types. Now let's meet the critic. The critic is always judging you. They point out every mistake you make. They never let you forget your flaws. They say, "You're not good enough," or "You'll never get it right." Their words stick in your mind like glue. You start to believe them. You feel smaller each day. Your confidence shrinks. You stop trying new things. You stop speaking up. The critic's voice can sound like a parent, a teacher, or a boss. Sometimes it becomes your own voice in your head. This constant judgment makes you anxious. You worry about failing. You worry about being laughed at. You worry about never being enough. The critic steals your joy. It can even make you feel sad or hopeless. Now meet the enabler. The enabler seems kind at first. They say yes to everything. They never set limits. They let bad behavior slide. They make excuses for others. "He's just tired," they say, or "she didn't mean it." The enabler keeps the peace, but at a price. They block real change. They let problems grow bigger. They feed dysfunction instead of stopping it. This keeps everyone stuck. You don't get to grow. You don't get to heal. These two types, critic and enabler, hurt you in different ways. The critic makes you doubt yourself. The enabler keeps you from changing. Both can make old wounds feel fresh. Studies show that constant criticism lowers self-esteem and hurts mental health. People who live with critics feel more anxious and sad. People who live with enablers feel stuck and powerless. This is the cycle of self-betrayal. You ignore your own needs. You let others cross your boundaries. You keep quiet when you should speak up. Jung believed healing starts with owning your boundaries. You can say, "That's not okay." You can say, "I deserve respect." You can say, "No more." When you stand up for yourself, you break the cycle. You start to heal. You start to grow. You start to feel strong inside. Next, let's see how these patterns trap us and how to break free. Why do we stay with people who hurt us? Sometimes it's hope. We hope they will change. We remember the good days and wish for them again. We think, maybe if I try harder, things will get better. Sometimes it's fear. Fear of being alone can feel bigger than fear of being unhappy. We worry, what if no one else ever loves me? Or what if I can't make it on my own? Sometimes we believe in the myth of potential. We see what someone could become, not what they are. We tell ourselves, they just need more time. Or, if I love them enough, they'll change. But the truth is, the cost is high. We lose years hoping for things to get better. We lose parts of ourselves little by little. We forget what makes us happy. We stop doing things we love. We stop seeing friends and family. We start to feel empty inside. This is the real price of staying too long. We get stuck in a cycle called the drama triangle. In this triangle, there are three roles: the victim who feels helpless, the rescuer who tries to fix everything, the persecutor who blames and hurts. Sometimes we play all three roles. One day we feel like the victim, the next day we try to rescue. Sometimes we get angry and blame others. This triangle keeps spinning and no one wins. The longer we stay, the more we lose ourselves. The stress builds up inside us. We feel anxious all the time. We worry about what will happen next. We feel sad and tired. We start to forget who we are. Our self-esteem gets smaller and smaller. We might even get sick from all the stress. Our mind and body both feel the pain. Sometimes we don't even notice how much we've changed. But then, something happens. Maybe it's a small moment. Maybe it's a big fight. Maybe we look in the mirror and don't recognize ourselves. That's the moment of realization. We see that staying is hurting more than leaving. We see that we deserve better. We see that it's time to break free. Many people have walked this path. They found the courage to leave. They asked for help from friends, family, or professionals. They started to heal little by little. They learned that taking care of themselves is not selfish. It's necessary. Breaking free is hard, but it's possible. When you choose yourself, you grow stronger. You learn new things about who you are. You find new hope and new dreams. The journey is not easy, but it is worth it. You can write a new story for your life. You can find peace again. You can find yourself again. And you can help others by sharing your story. The moment you realize you deserve better is the moment your life begins to change. Now imagine waking up and seeing everything with new eyes. Suddenly you notice who lifts you up and who pulls you down. You see which people bring sunshine and which bring storms. You realize you have the power to choose who stays in your life. This is clarity, like cleaning a dirty window and letting the light in. You start to trust your own feelings again. You listen to your gut when something feels wrong. You believe your own story, not just what others tell you. Here's your first step. Stop justifying bad behavior. If someone hurts you again and again, it's not your fault. You don't have to make excuses for them. You don't have to explain away your pain. The second step, start affirming your worth. Say to yourself, I matter. Say, my feelings are important. Say, I deserve to feel safe and happy. The third step, choose your peace over chaos. You can set boundaries with anyone. You can say, no, that's not okay. You can say, I need space. You can say, I choose what's best for me. Boundaries are like fences for your heart. They keep out what hurts and let in what heals. Jung called this process integration. It means bringing all parts of yourself together. Even the parts you used to hide. You accept your strengths and your scars. You become whole, not just a piece of someone else's story. This is called individuation, becoming truly yourself. It's the bravest thing you can do. Remember, you are not alone on this path. Many people have walked it before you. Many are walking it with you right now. You can always reach out for help. You can talk to a friend, a counselor, or a support group. Healing takes time, but every step counts. Every small choice for yourself is a victory. Here's a sentence you can write down. I choose my peace over fear. Say it to yourself every morning. Say it when you feel scared or small. Let it remind you that your peace matters. You are allowed to protect your heart. You are allowed to change your story. You are allowed to grow and shine. If this message helped you, share it with someone who needs it. Subscribe or follow for more gentle reminders on your journey. Let's keep healing together, one step at a time. Remember, you are strong, you are worthy, and you are never alone. Thank you for listening, and thank you for choosing your peace.